A master of the nuanced art of lyrical brevity. We all know who we are referring to. Curtis James Jackson III, also known as 50 Cent, is well known for the impact he has made on the hip-hop industry. Apart from being a famous rapper, actor, and producer, Jackson is also known for the beefs he has had with other celebrities. In today's video, we will talk about why other rappers can't stand 50 Cent. What happened between 50 Cent and Ja Rule? It is without a doubt that a big part of 50 Cent's success had to do with him starting conflicts with his foes and somehow always surviving it. When we talk about what happened with 50 Cent and Ja Rule, it would not be entirely accurate if we classified it along with other celebrity beefs, as these two were literally real-life enemies, hating each other's guts. Before the famous diss records, these two would even get physical on some occasions. The dissing songs they wrote about each other was just a result of what happened in their past. So, how did the beef originally start? A friend of mine robbed Ja Rule. That's how the beef originally started. My man robbed him for a chain, and then this guy named Brown came and got the chain back for Ja, 50 Cent writes in his biography, From Pieces to Weight. He later explained that once Ja saw him in a club with a guy who had robbed him, and when 50 Cent approached him, Ja acted like he had a problem with 50 Cent. But I'm not the one who robbed him, added Jackson. This beef kept going on and on. Around the year 2000, 50 Cent recorded Your Life's on the Line, which was basically addressed to Ja. These two eventually ran into each other during a show in Atlanta, and they even got physical in the nearest hotel parking lot. Things got even worse in New York City when Ja and 50 Cent once again fought when Jackson was recording at the Hit Factory. In the following years, the two rappers kept fighting, trashing each other behind their backs, and creating even more dissing records like Wanksta, Clap Back, and Hail Mary. In 2011, Ja finally told MTV Sway Calloway that he was done beefing, and 50 Cent confirmed that. Sometime later, Ja even tweeted saying that he sat next to 50 Cent on a transcontinental flight with no issues. Why did 50 Cent have a beef with Cameron? Even though the conflict between those two rappers was not that major, it included every crucial ingredient for 50 Cent beef, including calling names, dissing with records, trash talking, and so on. Everything started with 50 Cent's dissing attitude towards people from his industry. He trashed Koch Entertainment by calling it a graveyard and saying that he would be able to destroy any of their projects if he wanted to. Alan Grunblatt, who by that time was a general manager of Koch Entertainment, did not stay silent for long and decided to fight back. In 2007, when 50 Cent was promoting his album Curtis in an interview with Angie Martinez on Hot 97. During an interview, Alan Grunblatt called into the station confronting 50 Cent for what he had said. Jackson got angry and demanded to speak to Cameron, Harlem rapper and Dipset member who called with the manager of Koch Records. Those two rappers did not really have anything against each other, but soon their argument got heated, and after that call, they ended up despising each other. About a week later, 50 Cent released the Cameron diss track called Funeral Music. At first, this beef was interesting and fun to watch, but then it got really messy, and that was when Cameron suddenly disappeared. He reappeared in November of the same year and announced that he was moving to Florida to take care of his mother, who had suffered from 3 stroke attacks. After a while, everybody forgot about that beef and things ended on peaceful terms. We had our little hip-hop beef, or whatever you want to call it, but ain't no problem, Cameron explained during a 2011 MTV Rap Fix Live. Jim and Jules do stuff with 50 and they camp all the time. I don't have a problem with 50 at all. It is what it is. We had our little discrepancy and we moved on from it. Why did 50 Cent and Fat Joe argue? Those two rappers never really had anything against each other, so when the conflict started, it was rather surprising for most of the fans. In 2004, when the rapping career of 50 Cent was at its peak, Fat Joe decided to join Jadakiss to take part in Ja Rule's single New York, dissing Curtis. That was basically when the beef started. Unlike the situation with Ja Rule, there was not much of the fist fighting involved, but Joe did become a target on Piggy Bank and a couple of 50 Cent's famous disses. Not only was 50 Cent dissing Joe's singles, like calling his single Lean Back a dud, but he also trashed him by making fun of his weight and appearance. Ouch. As you remember, Chris Lighty, a person who managed both 50 Cent and Joe, passed away in 2012. It kind of ended the conflict between those two, and during the 2012 BET Awards, 50 Cent and Joe even performed together to publicly end the beef. The same guy who discovered him discovered me, Chris Lighty, Joe explained to Hot 107.9's DJ QDZ in a 2012 interview. He always wanted me and 50 Cent to make peace forever, but we were just being stubborn and ignoring him. What did Oprah have against 50 Cent and his music? Even though it was always apparent to the fans that there was always some kind of tension between Oprah and the famous rapper, nobody really knew what was the reason behind it. When 50 Cent released his book Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, he explained why exactly he had conflict with her. He said that their beef started back in 2003 when Oprah did not let him on her talk show because she thought his music promoted misogyny and violence. Winfrey was quite vocal about it. She publicly expressed her opinion that 50 Cent's lyrics glorified gun violence and was very misogynistic. She was completely against everything that was in my music, Curtis explained to The Guardian, so she ain't never going to have me on that show. I'm never going to reach that platform, which is confirmation of you being a huge success. So I just said, okay, if we can't be friends, friends? Then at least let's be enemies. Eventually, the celebrity squashed the beef, and 50 Cent did end up on her show with his grandmother, but to this day, he still criticizes Oprah for attacking black men. Why did 50 Cent and Kenneth Supreme McGriff hate each other so much? When we talk about the conflicts between rappers, everything seems meaningless when it comes to what happened between Curtis and McGriff. Kenneth Supreme McGriff hated Curtis Jackson so much that he even went as far as attempting to kill him. Federal investigators have proof that he and the employees of rap label Murder Inc. were planning to assassinate 50 Cent because of his 2000 song Ghetto Carum, Forgive Me, where Curtis talks about his own past, how he used to sell crack as a kid, but also mentions the criminal past of McGriff, who used to lead the gang called the Supreme Team. Even though 50 Cent referred to McGriff as a respected businessman, he said that his partner Prince was a killer. Well, obviously McGriff failed to kill Curtis, and he was sentenced to jail for this attempt. And finally, why did Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent stop being friends? The two celebrities used to be really good friends until the year 2012. They would even celebrate holidays together with their families. As it became apparent, 50 Cent is not the easiest person to be friends with, but what was the reason those close friends separated to that extent? In 2012, after Floyd Mayweather got back from jail for the domestic battery charges, Curtis announced that he owed him money. It happened after Curtis Jackson partnered with Mayweather's lifestyle brand, The Money Team. As Floyd later explained, 50 Cent wanted half of the company. Obviously, he denied. You can't hang out with me every day for years and all of a sudden if I don't give you half of my company, you're like, you're dumb, you're stupid, you can't do this and you can't do that, said Mayweather. But if I can't do all these things, why are you hanging around with me? That's all I'm trying to add. If I'm such a person that doesn't know certain things and I'm not that sharp, why do you want to be around me every day? After this incident, the former friends would go back and forth teasing each other. 50 Cent would always make fun of Mayweather's literacy. Once he challenged Floyd in the media, saying that if he would read an entire page from Harry Potter without making a single mistake, he would donate $750,000 US to any charity organizations Floyd would want. On this note, we end our video. These were just some examples of why most of the celebrities do not like 50 Cent. Do not forget to click the like button and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.